You've been waiting for this moment your entire life, whether you knew it or not. Right now, in this very instant, something magnificent is unfolding within you. The universe has been preparing you, shaping you, molding you through every experience, every heartbreak, every triumph, and every seeming failure. Nothing has been random. Nothing has been wasted. Every single step you've taken has led you to this precious moment of awakening. There's a reason you're hearing these words right now. There's a reason your heart is stirring with recognition. You are among those who have been called, chosen not by some distant deity looking down from the clouds, but chosen by the very force of creation that flows through you. You are not separate from God. You are not apart from the divine intelligence that orchestrates the entire cosmos. You are an expression of it, a unique and irreplaceable manifestation of infinite possibility. For too long, you've been told that you're small, that you're limited, that you're unworthy. You've been conditioned to believe that you need to seek approval from outside yourself, that your value comes from what others think of you, from the job you hold, from the size of your bank account, from the achievements you can display like trophies on a shelf. But today, right now, those old beliefs are crumbling. They're falling away like old skin that no longer fits the magnificent being you're becoming. The truth that's been waiting to reveal itself to you is this: you are enough. You have always been enough. You were born enough. Before you accomplished a single thing, before you proved yourself to anyone, before you earned your first dollar or received your first praise, you were already complete, already whole, already worthy of every good thing this universe has to offer. But being chosen doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It doesn't mean you're above others or more special in a way that diminishes another person's light. Being chosen simply means you've awakened to the truth of who you really are. It means you've stopped playing the game of pretending to be less than you are. It means you finally said yes to your own magnificence, to your own divine nature, to the calling that's been whispering to you in the quiet moments of your life. You see, God has been speaking to you all along, not through thunderbolts or burning bushes, though those dramatic moments certainly have their place in our collective stories. No, the divine has been speaking to you through your desires, through your dreams, through that persistent feeling that there's something more, something bigger that you're meant to do, meant to be, meant to experience. Every time you felt that longing for something greater, that was God calling you home to yourself. And here's what you need to understand about this calling. It's not asking you to become someone you're not. It's not demanding that you twist yourself into some unnatural shape to fit someone else's idea of what spiritual or successful or worthy looks like. The calling is asking you to peel away everything that isn't truly you. It's asking you to remove the masks, to drop the pretense, to stop performing for an audience that doesn't matter. You've spent so much energy trying to be what others expected. Your parents had their ideas about who you should be, what you should study, what career you should pursue, who you should marry, how you should live. Your teachers had their expectations, your friends had their opinions, society had its rules and regulations about the proper way to live a life, and somewhere along the way, you forgot to ask the most important question: what do I want? Who am I when nobody's watching? What makes my soul sing? The moment you start asking these questions, everything changes, because these questions reconnect you with your source, with that infinite intelligence that brought you into being. And when you're connected to your source, when you're aligned with your true nature, you become unstoppable. Not in an aggressive, forceful way, but in the way that water is unstoppable. Water doesn't fight, water doesn't struggle, water simply flows, and in its flowing, it shapes mountains, carves canyons, nourishes all life. That's the kind of power you have access to when you align with who you really are. But alignment requires something from you. It requires that you become honest, brutally honest with yourself. You can no longer afford to lie to yourself about what you're feeling, about what you want, about what's working and what isn't. You can no longer pretend that you're happy in that job that drains your life force. You can no longer act as if that relationship that demeans you is somehow acceptable. You can no longer convince yourself that settling for less than your dreams is being realistic. Realism, as most people define it, is just a fancy word for giving up. It's a way of justifying the choice to stop growing, to stop reaching, to stop believing in the impossible. But you weren't put on this earth to be realistic. You were put here to be magical, to be miraculous, to demonstrate what's possible when a human being decides to live in alignment with infinite possibility rather than finite limitation. Now, I know what your mind is doing right now. It's starting to whisper those old familiar doubts. Who am I to think I'm special? Who am I to believe I'm chosen? Who am I to claim I deserve more? And here's what you need to say back to that voice. Who am I not to? Who am I to play small when the very force that created galaxies lives inside me? Who am I to hide my light when the world is desperate for people who are willing to shine? Your playing small doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't make others feel better about themselves. It doesn't make you more humble or more spiritual. It just robs the world of your unique gifts, your unique perspective, your unique contribution. And make no mistake, you have something to contribute that no one else can. There is something you can do, something you can create, something you can express that only you, in your absolute uniqueness, can bring into existence. God didn't make duplicates. God made originals. You're not here to be a copy of someone else, no matter how successful or enlightened or perfect they might seem. You're here to be the first and only version of you that will ever exist. That's your purpose. That's your mission. To be so completely, unapologetically yourself that your very presence gives others permission to do the same. But here's where most people get stuck. They wait. They wait for permission. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel ready, until they have more money, more time, more knowledge, more confidence. They wait until the conditions are just right. And while they're waiting, life is passing them by. While they're waiting, their dreams are withering. While they're waiting, the world is missing out on their gifts. There is no perfect time. There is only now. This moment is all you ever have. The future is just an idea, a concept, a story you tell yourself. The past is gone, dissolved into the infinite ocean of what was. All your power, all your creative ability, all your divine potential exists right here, right now, in this eternal present moment. And when you fully show up in this moment, when you bring all of yourself to what's right in front of you, miracles happen. Miracles aren't violations of natural law. Miracles are what happen when you align yourself with the highest laws of the universe. When you align with love instead of fear, with abundance instead of scarcity, with possibility instead of limitation, you begin to experience what seems miraculous from the perspective of the old limited way of seeing. But from the perspective of your true nature, miracles are simply the natural result of being who you really are. And who you really are is so much more than this body, so much more than this personality, so much more than this story you've been telling yourself about your life. You are consciousness itself, experiencing itself through this unique form. You are the universe looking at itself through your eyes. You are God in human disguise. And the disguise has become so convincing that you forgot who you are underneath the costume. But the forgetting was part of the plan. You had to forget so you could remember. You had to lose yourself so you could find yourself. You had to go through the darkness so you could truly appreciate the light. Every struggle you've faced, every obstacle you've overcome, every dark night of the soul you've endured, it was all preparing you for this moment of recognition, this moment of remembering, this moment of coming home to your true self. And now that you're remembering, now that you're waking up, you have a responsibility. Not a burden, but a joyful responsibility. You have a responsibility to live from this awareness, to act from this knowing, to make choices based on who you really are rather than who you've been pretending to be. This means you might have to make some changes. You might have to let go of relationships that no longer align with your truth. You might have to leave situations that were comfortable but stifling. You might have to disappoint some people who've grown accustomed to the smaller version of you. And yes, this might be uncomfortable. Change always is. But discomfort is not the same as wrong. Sometimes the most uncomfortable choices are the ones that lead to the most extraordinary transformations. Think about the caterpillar in the cocoon. If you could ask it what it was feeling during that transformation, I guarantee it wouldn't describe the experience as comfortable. The caterpillar literally dissolves. Its entire body breaks down into a kind of cellular soup before reorganizing into something completely new. That's intense. That's uncomfortable. But would you tell the caterpillar not to go through that process? Would you say it should stay comfortable and remain a caterpillar forever? Of course not. Because you know that on the other side of that discomfort is the ability to fly. You're in your cocoon right now. You might not see it yet, but you're dissolving. The old you is breaking down and something new, something magnificent, something with wings is forming. Don't resist the process. Don't judge yourself for the discomfort. Don't think something's wrong because it doesn't feel easy. Transformation is rarely easy, but it's always worth it. And here's something beautiful about this process. You don't have to do it alone. You're not isolated. You're not separate. You're part of an interconnected web of consciousness that includes every being who has ever lived, who is living now, and who will ever live. You have access to infinite wisdom, infinite guidance, infinite support. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is open yourself to receive. But asking requires humility. It requires you to admit that you don't have all the answers, that you can't figure everything out with your rational mind alone, that you need help from something greater than your limited ego self. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's strength. The strongest people are the ones who know when to ask for help, who understand that independence is an illusion and that we're all fundamentally interdependent. So ask for guidance, ask for clarity, ask for strength, ask for courage, ask for whatever you need, and then pay attention, because the answers will come, though not always in the form you expect. The guidance might come through a conversation with a stranger, through a book that falls off the shelf at just the right moment, through a dream, through a feeling, through a knowing that arises from somewhere beyond your thinking mind. The universe is always speaking to you, always guiding you, always supporting you, but you have to tune in to the right frequency. You have to quiet the noise of the world, the constant chatter of your mind, the endless stream of distractions that keep you from hearing the still small voice within. That voice is always there, always available, always pointing you toward your highest good. And your highest good is not what your ego thinks it should be. Your ego wants security, comfort, approval, control. Those aren't bad things, but they're not your highest good. Your highest good is growth, expansion, the full expression of your divine potential. Your highest good is becoming more of who you really are, shedding more of who you're not, aligning more completely with love, with truth, with the infinite creative intelligence that animates all of existence. This alignment is what people mean when they talk about being in the flow, being in the zone, being in the sweet spot. When you're aligned, everything feels easier, not because life stops presenting challenges, but because you stop resisting. You stop fighting against what is. You stop trying to force things to be different than they are. You accept what is, and from that acceptance, you create what can be. Acceptance is not resignation. Acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance is seeing clearly without the distortion of judgment or resistance. When you see clearly, you can respond appropriately. When you see clearly, you make wise choices. When you see clearly, you access a power that's not available to you when you're caught up in resistance and judgment. And part of seeing clearly is recognizing that everything is happening for you, not to you. Every experience, even the painful ones, even the ones you wouldn't have chosen, is serving your growth, serving your evolution, serving your awakening. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes. There's only a divine intelligence orchestrating everything in a way that serves the highest good of all, even when you can't see the bigger picture, even when it doesn't make sense to your limited perspective. This is where trust comes in. Trust is the foundation of a spiritual life. Trust is what allows you to let go of control, to stop micromanaging every detail, to stop trying to figure everything out before you take the next step. Trust is what allows you to walk forward in faith, knowing that you're being guided, knowing that you're being supported, knowing that even when you can't see the path ahead, the path is there. But trust doesn't mean being passive. Trust doesn't mean sitting around waiting for life to happen to you. Trust is active. Trust is engaged. Trust says, I'll do everything I can, and then I'll trust the universe to do what I cannot. Trust says, I'll take the next step without knowing exactly where it leads, because I know I'm being guided. Trust says, I'll follow my intuition even when it doesn't make logical sense, because there's an intelligence working through me that's greater than my rational mind. Your intuition is God speaking through you. Your intuition is that knowing that comes from beyond your thinking, that guidance that arises from your connection to Source. And the more you honor your intuition, the more you follow those subtle promptings, the stronger that connection becomes. The more you ignore your intuition, the more you override that inner wisdom with your rational analysis or your fear-based thinking, the weaker that connection becomes. So start listening. Start paying attention to what feels right, to what feels aligned, to what feels true. Your body knows. Your heart knows. There's a wisdom in you that's beyond words, beyond logic, beyond anything your mind can comprehend. And when you learn to access that wisdom, when you learn to live from that place, you become a conduit for miracles. You become a force for good in the world. You become an example of what's possible when a human being lives in full alignment with their divine nature. And as you step into this alignment, as you claim your place among the chosen ones, you'll notice something interesting happening. The people around you will start to change. Not because you're trying to change them, but because your energy is different. When you change, the world around you changes. When you raise your vibration, everything that's not a match for that new vibration has to fall away or transform. Some people will be inspired by your transformation. They'll want to know what's different about you. They'll want to experience what you're experiencing. These are the people who are ready for their own awakening, and you'll become a catalyst for their transformation. You don't have to preach. You don't have to convince. You just have to be. Your presence, your energy, your way of moving through the world will be the teaching. Other people will resist your transformation. They'll try to pull you back into the old patterns, the old ways of being. They'll make you feel guilty for changing. They'll accuse you of thinking you're better than them. They'll do everything they can to keep you small because your growth threatens their comfort, and you have to let them go. Not with anger, not with judgment, but with love and compassion, knowing that they're not ready yet, knowing that they're still learning what they need to learn, knowing that their path is their own, and it's not your job to save them or fix them or make them see what they're not ready to see. Your only job is to be true to yourself. Your only job is to honor your own path, your own truth, your own calling. When you do that, when you live in integrity with who you really are, you give others permission to do the same. You become a light that helps guide others home to themselves. Not by telling them what to do, not by imposing your beliefs on them, but simply by showing them what's possible, by demonstrating what happens when someone has the courage to be themselves. And courage is exactly what it takes. It takes courage to stand in your truth when everyone around you is living in illusion. It takes courage to follow your heart when logic is screaming at you to play it safe. It takes courage to believe in yourself when you've been told your whole life that you're not enough. It takes courage to step into your power when you've been conditioned to believe that power is something to be feared or that claiming your power makes you selfish or arrogant. But real power isn't about dominating others. Real power isn't about getting your way at someone else's expense. Real power is the ability to remain centered in your truth, regardless of what's happening around you. Real power is the capacity to choose love over fear again and again and again, even when fear seems like the more rational choice. Real power is knowing who you are so completely that nothing external can shake your foundation. This is the power you're being called to claim. This is the inheritance that's been waiting for you. You are not here to be a victim of circumstance. You are not here to be tossed around by the winds of fate. You are here to be a conscious creator, to be a deliberate manifester of your reality, to be an active participant in the unfolding of your destiny. And manifestation isn't some magical thinking where you just visualize what you want and it appears out of thin air. Manifestation is the natural result of alignment. When you align your thoughts with your desires, when you align your beliefs with your dreams, when you align your actions with your vision, the universe has no choice but to reflect that alignment back to you. You become a magnet for the experiences, the people, the opportunities that match your vibration. But if you're vibrating at the frequency of lack, if you're constantly thinking about what you don't have, what's wrong, what's missing, you'll keep attracting more of that. If you're vibrating at the frequency of unworthiness, if you believe you don't deserve good things, the universe will mirror that belief right back to you. Your external reality is always a perfect reflection of your internal state. Always, without exception. So if you want to change your life, change your mind. Change what you believe about yourself. Change what you believe is possible. Change the story you're telling yourself about who you are and what you can do and what you deserve. Because the story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. If you tell yourself you're stuck, you'll be stuck. If you tell yourself you're limited, you'll be limited. If you tell yourself you're unworthy, you'll experience unworthiness. But if you tell yourself you're powerful beyond measure, if you tell yourself you're a beloved child of the universe, if you tell yourself you're here for a sacred purpose, everything changes. Everything. The same circumstances that once felt like obstacles become opportunities. The same challenges that once felt overwhelming become exciting adventures. The same life that once felt meaningless becomes rich with significance and purpose. This shift in perspective is what spiritual teachers have been pointing to for thousands of years. It's what they mean when they talk about enlightenment, about awakening, about salvation. It's not about going somewhere else. It's not about becoming someone different. It's about seeing clearly what's already true, about recognizing what's been here all along, about waking up from the dream of separation and limitation. You are not separate from God. You are not separate from anyone or anything. Separation is the illusion. Unity is the truth. At the deepest level of reality, we are all one. We are all connected. We are all expressions of the same infinite consciousness experiencing itself in different forms. When you hurt another, you hurt yourself. When you love another, you love yourself. There is no other. There is only the one, appearing as the many. And when you live from this awareness of unity, when you see the divine in every person you meet, when you recognize that every situation is serving your growth, when you understand that you are both the creator and the created, life becomes a sacred adventure. Life becomes a love affair between you and the universe. Life becomes an opportunity to express the infinite in finite form, to bring heaven to earth, to make the invisible visible. This is what you were born to do. This is why you're here. Not to accumulate more stuff, not to achieve more success, not to prove your worth to anyone. You're here to remember who you are and to live from that remembrance. You're here to be a clear channel for divine love, divine creativity, divine intelligence to flow through. You're here to add your unique note to the cosmic symphony, to paint your unique color on the canvas of existence, to contribute your verse to the poetry of life. And your verse matters. Your contribution matters. You matter. Not because of what you do or what you achieve or what you accomplish, but because you exist. Your existence is not an accident. Your life is not meaningless. You are a necessary part of the whole. The universe would be incomplete without you. God would be incomplete without you because you are not separate from God. You are God in expression, God in action, God experiencing itself through this unique form called you. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to be who you are. The permission you've been waiting for can only come from you. The readiness you've been seeking will never come because you're as ready now as you'll ever be. The approval you've been craving is available right now from the only source that truly matters, yourself. Approve of yourself. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Not in some narcissistic, self-absorbed way, but in a deep, profound recognition of your divine nature. Love yourself the way God loves you, unconditionally, completely, without reservation. And from that foundation of self-love, everything else flows naturally. From that foundation, you can love others without needing anything from them. From that foundation, you can give freely without expecting anything in return. From that foundation, you can live with an open heart, knowing that even if you get hurt, you have the resilience to heal, the wisdom to learn, the courage to try again. This is the message that's been waiting to be delivered to you. This is what God has been trying to tell you through every experience, every relationship, every challenge, every triumph. You are loved. You are worthy. You are enough. You are powerful. You are here for a reason. And that reason is simply to be yourself, to express yourself, to enjoy yourself, to love yourself, and to extend that love to everyone you meet. The waiting is over. The preparation is complete. The moment is now. You are ready. You have always been ready. The chosen one is not someone else. The chosen one is you. It has always been you. It will always be you. There is no one else coming to save you, to fix you, to complete you. You are the one you've been waiting for. You are the answer to your own prayers. You are the hero of your own story. So step into that role. Claim your power. Own your truth. Live your purpose. Be the magnificent being you were created to be. The world is waiting for you. Your life is waiting for you. Your destiny is waiting for you. All you have to do is say yes. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to your dreams. Say yes to the infinite possibility that exists within you and all around you. Say yes to love. Say yes to life. Say yes to the adventure of becoming who you really are. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your awakening. Welcome home.